Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something absolutely wild, a massive evolutionary mismatch. We're going to look at the literal clash between our ancient biological brains and the fast-paced, hyper-connected digital world we carry in our pockets every single day. It's fascinating stuff, so let's just jump right in.
Section 1. A caveman with a smartphone. I want you to genuinely imagine this scenario for a second. What happens if you take a modern smartphone and hand it to someone living 50,000 years ago? Just picture that. Within a few minutes, they'd have instant access to millions of people. They'd have endless entertainment right there in the palm of their hand, constant social validation, and unlimited information. To them, this glowing little rectangle would seem like absolute literal magic.
But here is the crazy twist. The biological brain sitting inside your skull right now, it's largely identical to theirs. Seriously. Even though our world has changed at lightning speed, your brain is still pretty much a product of that ancient environment. And what that means is, when you're scrolling social media today, you are interacting with a biological operating system that evolved long before the internet was even a spark of an idea.
Section 2. Your evolutionary hardware.
You know, for the vast majority of human history, life was relatively simple, sure, but it was brutally difficult. Our ancestors faced real physical dangers every single day. We're talking wild predators, starvation, freezing weather. Fast forward to today, and our perceived dangers are completely different. Instead of running from saber-toothed tigers, we are just constantly bombarded by the fake urgency of endless digital notifications.
To survive that harsh ancient world, our brains had to become incredibly good at a few specific things. They adapted to instantly notice rapid changes in our environment, to aggressively seek out rewards, and to maintain really tight-knit but limited social bonds. Our brains became absolute masters at these survival skills. But here's the catch. While the world around us completely transformed, our biological hardware didn't. Those exact same survival circuits are still running the show inside your head right now.
Section 3. The digital dopamine loop.
So what happens when ancient hardware meets modern software? You get the dopamine loop. This is a cycle where unpredictability and uncertain rewards keep your brain hyper-engaged and constantly coming back for more. And hey, I really want to emphasize something important here. If you find yourself doom-scrolling, it is not some personal failing or a lack of willpower. Not at all. It's actually just your ancient reward system doing exactly what evolution built it to do.
Let's actually break down how this works when you refresh your feed. Step 1. You pull down to refresh. Step 2. You get that split second of pure uncertainty. It's the maybe factor, right? Maybe you'll see a hilarious video, maybe someone liked your photo, or maybe there's absolutely nothing. Step 3, you get an unpredictable reward. And because of that maybe, step 4 kicks in automatically. The habit is reinforced. Every time you get a little hit of a reward, it trains your brain to check again until scrolling becomes a completely subconscious reflex.
Section 4. The global comparison trap.
Now let's think about our ancestors again. For tens of thousands of years, the historical norm was living with a tiny group of people. You gathered food, you survived, and you only compared yourself to maybe a few dozen familiar faces in your local tribe. But today, social media blasts you with a global highlight reel. Suddenly you're comparing yourself to world-famous celebrities, billionaire entrepreneurs, elite athletes, and influencers from literally all over the planet. And the real issue here is that your brain is comparing your messy, everyday, behind-the-scenes life to someone else's carefully curated highlights. Think about it. People generally only post their absolute best moments online, right? Very rarely the ordinary boring stuff. This sets up a wildly unfair comparison. It distorts our reality and leaves us feeling like we're somehow falling behind, even when we are actually doing perfectly fine.
Section 5. Why we can't stop.
So why is it so incredibly hard to just put the phone down? Well, again, we have to look at our biology. Curiosity is an ancient, deeply wired instinct that kept us alive. Back then, it drove us to explore, to learn, and to find new food sources. Fast forward to today, and that exact same survival curiosity is being hijacked by pings, buzzes, and little red notification badges. Instead of pushing you out to explore the physical world, it's just pulling you right back to a screen.
It's a total slippery slope. Just look at the timeline of an attention hijacked. At 1 second, a single notification fires up that ancient curiosity. 5 minutes later, checking that one notification has snowballed into checking 5 different apps. Give it 30 minutes, and without you even realizing it, your valuable attention has been completely captured. We really have to remember that these platforms are intentionally designed to compete for our focus. Why? Because human attention is incredibly valuable.
Section 6. Taking back control.
All right, so how do we fix this? Well, the absolutely crucial point here is that technology itself is not the enemy. You don't have to throw your phone in a lake. The goal is simply intentional use, rather than automatic zombie scrolling. Just understanding how your biological brain responds to these apps is the single biggest step toward actually reclaiming your attention.
So what are some practical ways to do that? Based on our sources, here are a few totally doable hacks. First, turn off those unnecessary notifications that constantly trigger your curiosity. Set some hard limits on your screen time. And most importantly, prioritize real, face-to-face conversations. Go outside, get some sunlight, read a physical book, go for a run. By doing this, you're basically giving your ancient brain the rich, fulfilling rewards it actually craves. Rewards that have absolutely nothing to do with a glowing screen.
Section 7. Conclusion.
At the end of the day, your brain just wasn't built for endless social media feeds. It was built to survive in a natural world, filled with real relationships, real physical challenges, and way less information. Tech companies know this, and they tap into those ancient instincts perfectly. But now that you know how it works, you can start working with your brain. You don't have to let external algorithms decide where your focus goes.
Which brings us to a really powerful question I want to leave you with. The next time you find your hand automatically reaching for your phone, I want you to pause for just a second and ask yourself, am I actually choosing this? Or is my ancient brain simply responding to a system designed to capture my attention? Let that sink in. Honestly, just asking that one question can completely change your relationship with your devices. Thanks so much for exploring this with me on The Explainer today, and I hope this leaves you curious to keep uncovering the hidden forces shaping your everyday life.